What's up, boxing fans? Coach Jay here from the Empire Boxing Podcast. Love to shout out our partners at the Before Company, my favorite toothpaste right now. If you go online and make an order between now and December 31st using the code EMPIRE in all caps, you will get a free tube of toothpaste sent with your order. So be sure to hit up that promotion and we will see you next time.
An Empire Boxing and Unlearning Network production.
Welcome back to another episode of the Empire Boxing Podcast, and we are here with Elroy from Mendoza Boxing Club, who just took the stage by storm at the Takeover that's just past November. And welcome.
Glad to be here.
Excellent. And we have so much to talk about today because I want to talk about you and find out more about you, which is cool for me because I don't really know much about you. So I get to kind of decide, where I want to start. But I think we're going to start with the origin story of you and how you fell into boxing, go through a little bit of your coaching and your camp, your experience in Mendoza. And then I do want to talk about the fight with you because I think there's so much there. That was, I think, my favorite fight of the night. Definitely.
Thank you.
So talk to us. How did you come into boxing, or did boxing find you?
Boxing found me in a way, but my friend actually got me into it. He just told me, "Oh, I want to start boxing," and I was like, "All right, I'll join you."
Cool.
Yeah, I always like combat sports when I was a kid, though. Watching Pacquiao growing up, it's dope. Watching the pay-per-views on HBO, but wasn't really a thing then. It was just more like a family thing.
Right. And how old were you when that happened?
Oh, I was just like in my high school years, but I didn't get into boxing till I was like 19. So, but when I started, I wasn't at Mendoza at first. I was in a gym in Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I just trained for a couple years till my first amateur fight. Then I realized, I want to keep going.
Excellent. So did you know right away when you let's say your first week, you do your first few boxing workouts, your first few classes, you kind of get the sense of the technique. Did you know right away that this was going to be like future Elroy is going to be stepping between the ropes as a professional boxer? Like, did it click for you or did it take time to build?
It definitely took time, but after a week or so, I wanted to keep going. I want to see how far I can get with this.
Yeah.
Because I used to play tennis back in high school, but I gave up because my hands are too sweaty. But yeah, it actually played a factor for sure. It's hard to play sports without gloves, but when I did boxing, as weird as it seemed, whoa, my sweaty hands don't affect me. I'm like, this is great.
So
the other guy
you wrap
feels
your
the same.
hands for different reasons.
Exactly. So
amazing. Yeah, I guess you'd get a mean forehand and the racket would go flying or something.
Yeah, I'd always lose grip no matter what, especially when you're going in for a volley or something.
Yeah.
It just breaks on you. It's like, it's so frustrating.
God, that's so funny. Now, did you notice any correlations between some of the footwork and lateral movement that is in tennis when you came into learning the footwork of boxing?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of basic footwork in tennis. Let's just almost like crab walking in a way, and the way they turn their bodies, the way they torque the bodies. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to boxing, just more wide though in tennis, but in boxing it's much sharper.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've heard the analogy a few times when teaching new people boxing that the arm should be nice and loose, and it's sort of like the extension of what the body is, the power, the force generated in the body can do. So the arm very much represents the racket in tennis, right? Which is that loose follow through, right? That whip action. So that's pretty cool. I never really thought about the correlations of those two sports, but I think there probably is quite a few parallels.
Definitely. I mean, they're both impact sports in a way. You're always striking something.
Yeah. And you're always moving.
Yes.
Now, when you did your first amateur fight, how was that experience for you?
It was definitely nerve-wracking, getting in there. There were people at the time too, so there was quite a bit. So I was very nervous, but first minute in, the moment it started, I just lost track. I'm in the fight. This is all I can focus on right now. And that felt great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now so I have to say, I met you at the weigh-ins. We had a little chat. I remember my dad saying after, he's like, "Oh, that Elroy is the nicest guy." And you just have this sweet, unassuming, lovely, personality, and then all of a sudden you're coming out and you walk out and you turn into this ferocious warrior. And it was just, I was like, is that the same guy? Who's that guy? And the way you fought like a lion. It was incredible to see that. Now, where is that switch for you? And when did you first discover you had it?
Honestly, as a kid too, I don't know if I should say this, but like I
What,
kind
you
of
beating the shit out of kids in the playground or
no,
what?
I'm not like that. But like I definitely have like some sort of anger management problem. But like I do my absolute best to keep it a bit. Yes,
have an anger management problem.
I do.
Shocking.
I do.
Shocking.
But boxing is a way to get it all out of my system. So just going into the fight, letting it all out, I was just so happy.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I think boxing does serve that purpose for a lot of people. You hear stories all the time. Kids growing up even in rough neighborhoods and having really no outlet, and boxing becomes an outlet for them to deal with the violence or the uncertainties around them, and then they can bring that and channel it and harness it and discipline it.
Yeah.
And so that sort of sounds like what your kind of journey with boxing was at times as well.
Yes.
Amazing. So yeah, and I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be amazing. Like you blew me out of the water. And that fight was it was funny because you have this, let's call it that aggression, that kind of lion energy that you brought in, but you fought so technical and you just fought absolutely beautifully. Like it wasn't a brawl. And I mean, I think that was you and Qadir kind of complementing each other quite a bit too with different styles. And so I have to commend that. That fight was just a brilliant, brilliant fight for both of you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my fight style for sure, like I do my best to slug it out, but in my mind, I have to keep everything technical because if I don't, I'm going to get tired, I'm going to get sloppy, and it's just going to look bad in general. And that way, if I keep it all technical, I make less mistakes.
Excellent. Yeah, that's some key pieces right there. And I find that's consistent, and I actually had a conversation with someone today about that in BJJ as well. When you can slow down and keep it technical, you can see more. It's more efficient and you'll be far more accurate with your offensive aggressions, like far more accurate, far more precise. You can string things together better. And yeah, you harnessed all of that and it was a beautiful performance. Now, I know you fought Qadir in the amateurs.
Yes, we fought at Griffin's.
Okay. And 2 times?
Just once.
Just once. Now, what was the experience like? So did you factor into that when you were preparing for this fight with him in the Takeover?
Not really, because I knew he was going to be a different fighter. Like maybe a little bit regarding his elusiveness, his footwork, and how he likes to keep the distance. But I knew he was going to be a different puncher, and the fact that there's no headgear, it's just going to be different. I'll be able to move my head more because I don't know if it's the same for other people, but for me, I feel like I get hit more with headgear on because I'm just a bigger target.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do you find like just because the stakes are a little bit higher, you're keeping your defensive acuity even a little bit, turned up just a bit more?
Definitely. I feel like there's more at stake, more danger. So like my senses, my danger awareness is more.
Right.
It's up there.
Right. Now, how much sparring do you do with, I'm assuming quite a bit with, Michael and Terrence?
Oh, it's funny. I didn't keep track, but my coach did. Apparently I did 105 rounds preparing for this fight starting October 3rd.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Time just went by.
Just all putting the head down,
exactly.
Showing up, putting in the work.
Just keeping focus.
Mendoza is, building champions over there. You guys are all, and you guys have a slightly, there's differences, but it's a similar sort of come forward approach. Yeah. And I noticed that in yours as well from what I've seen from, both Michael and Terrence. So, I mean, you guys are incredible resources for each other for your training over there.
Oh, definitely.
Now, were you always an athletic guy as well? Or do you focus a little bit more on your S&C? Do you focus more on your boxing? Like, how does a camp look for you?
I do my own strength and conditioning, like at home. Like that's what I like to focus on. Like it's a little old school. I just stick to shadow boxing and just stick to skipping rope and this weird device called a power twister. I don't know if you
talk to us about the power twister. Jason, we're going to pull up a clip of the power twister.
Yeah, it's
for this segment.
It's just a tension bar, really. It's a nice thick spring with with handles on it, and you just squeeze it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's like oh man, I just got it's like a bend the pipe kind of deal.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's some Schwarzenegger stuff right there.
Kinda, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's used it back in the day, but the way I use it, I incorporate boxing footwork and very dynamic, almost aerobic stuff to it.
Nice.
As I squeeze, so it works my whole body as well. And that's just what I do.
Fonda and Schwarzenegger together at last. What could go wrong? Amazing. That's very cool. So you discipline yourself to show up to do your technical stuff in Mendoza, and then you come home and you kind of run yourself and discipline yourself through that programming as well.
Exactly.
And you do your whole camp like that?
Yes.
Amazing. So how self-motivated of a person are you?
Sometimes I'm lazy, but ever since I knew the pro fight was happening, I'm like, oh, I'm a different person now. So yeah, ever since becoming pro, I've been taking it up a notch and I've just been focusing more and more.
Amazing. Now, what is, daydream with me for a second. What does I made it in boxing look like for you?
To me, I made it means I get a chance to fight for a world title. Whether or not I get it, to fight for a world title is the dream.
Amazing. And if you could kind of go further into that dream, where would that world title be? Would you be in Canada? Would you be in the States? Where would you be?
Realistically speaking, I'd like it to be, I don't know, not in the States, but it's probably going to be in Las Vegas or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Roll up in a Bugatti and then just warrior cry and do your walk.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very cool. Now, Lev Jackson, you've also fought him in the amateurs as well.
Yeah, we fought twice.
Okay. So you fought Lev Jackson twice. And any interest in facing him in the pros now?
If he wants to go up to 140, yeah, definitely. But I kind of want to stay at 140.
Yeah, that's where you feel the best?
Yeah.
Have you gone up and down in the amateurs and felt the difference between?
Definitely. I actually fought all of my amateurs at 135. And maybe I think I've one fight maybe at 130 or like a in-between weight or something like that. But 135, that was my weight. I felt kind of weak. I felt fast though, but I just didn't feel like I had the oomph like I do now.
Yeah. And it is interesting, right? Like you drop that weight, you're light as a feather, your endurance goes up, but you don't really have that extra pop that you need.
Exactly.
And in the pros, arguably, you need that pop more than ever because it's not a game of touch. I touched you more than you touched me like it is in the amateurs. And you have to have the endurance to go in, out, round over round. In the pros, you want to land significant shots.
Right.
Right. And those want to hurt.
Damaging shots.
Exactly. So, and you popped Qadir's nose in the second round, didn't you? First round.
Yeah, I feel like somewhere 30 seconds in, I don't know. Like I was watching some clips of myself, but like it was pretty early in the fight. I just rushed him and I just landed something nice, and then I see him buckle down a little bit, and I just went for it. Yeah,
because he was sporting that nose for the remainder of the fight. Actually, I think that messed up dance, carefully mopped canvas pretty nicely. So okay, great. So you got into boxing early, you're finding yourself in the pros. What is your experience like with your balancing like your professional work and now this pro life that you're kicking it up a notch? So it takes up far more discipline and commitment. How are you going to, balance the life structures?
Well, that's why I chose physical work as well. That way I don't have to train too much by myself, like with strength and conditioning wise. That keeps me in shape. So I do my 8 to 4 and I go to Mendoza, or sometimes I don't because I can't always make the commitment to go every time, but I do make the commitment to spar on the weekends. But yeah, working gets me in shape. And then if I have any time at all at home, I just work out. I do my own conditioning.
Right.
If I can't make it to the gym, I mean.
Yeah. Now, are you a boxing fan as well? Do you spend much of your time watching boxing and studying it in that way?
Yes, I do.
Who's some of your favorite people to watch?
Oh, Salvador Sanchez. He's my favorite fighter.
Okay, cool. Jason's nodding. He approves. I can't help it. You're right there. I can see your head going. Yeah. Okay. And anyone else on the list of people you like to study?
Pacquiao, definitely, but not super technical wise. He's more of like he just bull rushes you. Like, especially him in his lighter weight class days, 135. He's like a tornado. But people like Salvador Sanchez was like so technical. Like people call him Mexican Mayweather, but like he's Salvador Sanchez. That's all he is. Like he's amazing. But yeah, too bad he died young. It's a shame.
Yeah. May he rest in peace. Now I've talked to a lot of boxers, on the show, and it's really cool to kind of hear everyone's stories of how boxing came into their life. And for some people, their families are like, no, not for you. You're going to be an engineer. Or like, no, not for you. You're going to get punched in the face. Or they're like, their dad's a dentist or something. And they're like, hell no, whatever. So what was your experience like, with your family and you saying you wanted to get into boxing?
Oh, this. Okay. My mom was definitely against it at first. Like,
what's your mom's name?
Her name is Medina.
Shout out Medina. Look at him now.
Well, yeah, like she just obviously like mother always wants to take care of her kids. They don't want to see them all bloodied up,
For sure. I think it's like instinctual. They can't help themselves.
Yeah.
Actually, it'd be kind of concerning if your mom was like, that's dope. Let's go. Right? Almost like you expect that argument with your mom.
Yeah. But yeah, she was definitely against it. Maybe still against it at first. That's why I didn't really tell them to come to my fight.
Stop. Really?
Yeah. I didn't tell them.
So they were like, what are you doing on the weekend? You guys coming for dinner? And
Well,
you're like, I'm busy?
No, I did tell them, but I just didn't tell them where and when. So they just have to, so they know.
So it was a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
So did they end up finding it?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay, okay. We didn't have any issues with security, so I'm guessing they didn't make it.
That's good.
Wow. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit more. So did you have the same approach when you were like first training boxing? Were you sneaking away to the boxing gym? How did that?
Well, they were fine with me training and stuff, but like the moment I said I wanted to fight, they're like, oh, okay. They were just, they approved of it just because they want me to try it and stuff. But like deep down, they're like, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
And it is. And it is. Yeah. And so did they come and attend some of those amateur fights as well?
Definitely.
And
Back in ComSport, they did.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what was their reaction once they saw you perform?
My dad kept quiet, but my mom's always screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even after the fight, she's like, oh my God. Like, are you okay? Anak.
And then she wants to feed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Amazing. Speaking of screaming, your lovely wife is here. She's sitting off screen right now. And we were just joking in the pre-show that she was the loudest person in the room when you were in the ring.
Oh, I can hear her loud and clear.
Can you hear her more than you can hear your corner?
Definitely. Like, that's the only voice I hear at the time. Like,
this is my first husband-wife thing, so we have to play this for a second. It's very romantic. It's a bit rocky, and I love it. Okay, so she's over there fanning herself. You're so cute.
Yo, Adrian.
Yeah, exactly. Adrian is so cute. How did you guys meet?
Oh, actually,
don't get it wrong. She's listening.
I met her at my friend gave birth to her kid, and I met her in the hospital. Actually, that's how we
really?
met.
This gets cuter. Okay. And then, come on, Elroy. Don't hold that on me.
Oh, I'm just a little nervous about this.
Don't
but,
be nervous.
Well, after that, like I thought she was cute, like really cute. So
Yeah, she's pretty cute, for the record.
Thank you.
Shout out, Angelica.
But now you're making me nervous. Huh? But yeah, like it was really just my friends who told me about her at first. Like, oh, like she's single. Like she might be into
Shoot
you.
your shot, Elroy.
Yeah, exactly. Do it. Like we don't know. You'll never know. Like me single at the time, I was like, okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and the rest is history.
Not exactly at first. Like
roll it.
Like at some point she was actually into me, but here's me just like being oblivious to everything.
Cute.
Yes. Yeah. And at some point she was the one who like, let's go out.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Atta girl.
Yeah. And then here we are, married.
Oh, how long have you guys been married?
We've been married for over 3 years now.
Nice. And Angelica, you can nod. Or did you know what you're getting into with this fight life? She did. And you're into it. You were like, let's go. How pivotal is she as part of like your support system when you're in camp?
Actually, she plays a huge factor. She's actually a very good boxer herself. Yeah, she's very into martial arts. Even before boxing, she knew Taekwondo. So she just knows martial arts in general. Then I taught her a thing or two and got her used to.
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
And sometimes even before Mendoza, actually, I was on a layoff because of COVID and all that. So I actually trained her a bit, and I just got her to punch me for practice.
Amazing.
Like rounds of her just pure offense, me defense, just working, just drilling away, just old school.
Wicked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so helpful. Honestly, just it's exhausting putting yourself on the back foot and being on like just full defense for 3 minutes. But it is an incredible tool for training, and that's so amazing that you guys can do that in your home, and she can help prepare you. Now, what other aspects is she involved in your camp as well? Does she help with like your food or anything like that?
Well, she does all the cooking.
So she's the real hero here.
Yes.
And then she's the loudest one in the room. This is great. This is like what everyone really should be. You guys are goals, really. No.
Thank you.
Cute. Okay. Well, we'll love it. She's over there blushing, so I'll leave her alone. Now, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about the fight with you and Qadir and kind of get you to talk about the fight through your eyes. Were you happy with the decision is one part of the question. And then two, just kind of walk us, obviously you weren't happy with the decision, but how did that impact you and looking back through that fight through your eyes? Walk us through that.
I don't disagree with the decision in the end. The judges have to make a call. It's all part of the game. I did definitely, I kind of put the brakes on myself for sure. So maybe that's what the judges thought, oh, he's gassed out, he's tired, oh, like it's not effective anymore. But for me, I took the breaks off just to see where I'm at. Like, it was my first fight. I just want to see what I can do as well, instead of just doing one thing, which is just rushing him. Because I already did that in like the first round, maybe part of the second round. So I took more of a break, and then mid second round and the third round, I let him work a bit more. Like, then he's becoming more successful, and then at the end of the third round, my corner talked to me. I was like, "Oh, do you want this?" Like, yes, I do want this. It's like, then prove it. Just do it. And then I was like, "Oh yeah." So in my mind, I was like, "Oh, am I like giving him away too much, or like am I giving away the fight?" In my eyes, like, I thought I was just taking a breather. I wasn't, I was still landing shots in my opinion. Like, I was still landing my jabs. I was keeping the pressure up, but maybe not the same kind of aggression I was in the first round. Maybe that's what the judges saw.
Yeah. Interesting. That's very interesting. Now, the post fight was heartwarming. It was the absolute epitome of sportsmanship. I was moving for everybody in the room. What did Qadir say to you?
Oh, he just said like I was a great fighter. Props to him too. He's a great fighter. He told me at the end of the fight, like, I broke his nose. I thought he was kidding at first, just being nice and stuff, but apparently it really did break his nose.
Really?
So,
fact checkers? He broke it. Oh, we have no idea. Jason's my fact checker as well.
But that's what he told me anyway.
Wow.
But when thinking about that, I was like, oh, he fought for 4 rounds with a broken nose. Like, what a tough guy.
Respect.
Yeah, that's respect. So that he earned my respect for sure. And post fight, yeah, like, it is what it is. I can't deny the decision. Whatever they said, it's done. So the best I could do was just be humble and be respectful about it.
Like, ultimately, it was just so amazing as a display of sportsmanship, and you guys were just both ambassadors to the sport, and we as promoters were very proud and honored to have that caliber of athleticism, that caliber of fight. You guys were matched up so well. Like, it was such a brilliant fight. And, to have you guys level up like that, even as on that sportsmanship level at the end of the fight, was just incredible. So, we were just like, I was floored. I thought you guys were just humble and respectful of each other. And both of you guys were just absolute warriors. Yeah. Now, what's next for you? Are you hungry to get back in there?
Definitely. The moment my mandatory suspension is up, I'd like to just fight right away, somewhere in Canada, wherever there's a card.
Yeah, so you're just hungry, ready to say yes.
Yeah.
That's what we like. Excellent. Now, okay, I have some kind of fun questions I want to ask you. And hopefully this will take away the nerves that I gave you when talking about your girl. So cute. Okay, so fantasy matchmaker. So you get to be matchmaker. You are Golden Boy Promotions. You are Matchroom Boxing. And you're going to match yourself against a fighter from the past. Who would it be?
Ooh.
Who would you like to fight?
I'd like to fight Pretty Boy Floyd.
Ah, yeah, okay.
In my opinion, he was Pretty Boy Floyd, not Money May. No hate, whatever, but Pretty Boy Floyd was just a specimen. Like, sharp, power puncher, like genius defensive wise, just makes you miss every punch and blocks every punch, and then he counters you right away. Like, he was the best in my opinion.
Wow. And then how would you approach him from your side offensively?
A guy like that who has minimal holes, you just have to, I just have to feint him a lot and just bull rush him until he gets tired or something, or make a mistake, then go at it again. Take one to land 3 or something. But someone that good, I don't know. I'm expecting to go down a few times.
Amazing. He picks himself a hard fight. We like it. And okay, so now you get to match yourself against someone from the present, someone in current rankings. Who is it?
Ooh. I'd like to fight Tank Davis.
Nice, my boy. Love Tank.
We're similar in height. He definitely has power, lots of power. So danger-wise, it'll make me sharper because every hit could knock me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, what's your thoughts on him and the Ryan Garcia fight?
Oh, I think Tank got this one for sure, but Garcia's got speed. Like, he's very quick. He's throwing some punches that people just don't see coming. That's gonna play a factor for sure, but I think Tank can take it.
See, and it's interesting because both of them utilize that lead hook a lot. Like, Ryan digs to the body, and Tank does as well, but he also comes forward with it quite a bit, and he'll often put it to the head over the body.
Yeah.
So both of them kind of have a similar tactic. You know, and then, you know, Ryan is a little bit more rangy. Tank's a little bit more on the inside. He tries to work and move forward. So I think that'll be an interesting fight. Who do you think goes down?
I think Ryan. Luke Campbell got him down with a nice left. Luke Campbell isn't a huge power puncher, but he's got some pop too. But Tank's got some real power. Mm-hmm. So I think if he puts him down, maybe a couple combinations, he could put him out.
Cool. Yeah. It'd be interesting. I'm definitely in Tank Davis's corner on that one as well. Now, there's been a recent announcement. He's fighting someone else, I think, that was just announced. Am I right? I'm having a mind melt because it's Pepsi over Coke and this shit's going to rot my brain. So who did they just announce that? Right? Yeah. Is that? Yeah, something like that. Hector Luis Garcia? That's exactly who it is. Any predictions on that fight?
I actually don't know that fighter. I haven't been totally in the loop of modern boxing.
Okay.
So who's he fighting? Sorry?
Hector Luis Garcia.
And Tank's fighting him?
Mm-hmm. And that's coming up in January. Mm-hmm.
Well, Tank is undefeated right now, right?
Tank's going to I think he's probably going to mow through him. Yeah. But right, it's the Tank Garcia fight that we all really want to see. That's the one, I think.
Yeah, I want to see that one. I actually want to see Garcia Haney as well, but we'll see. We'll see in the future. That was my next
question.
Oh,
yeah, that was my next question. I was like, okay, well, what do you think about that Haney fight? If Davis gets to face Haney, who do you think's got that?
Stylistically, Haney has got the height and reach advantage for sure, and he looked good against Cambosos in that rematch. Mm-hmm. If it goes the distance, I can see it going to Haney because just style-wise, he can win off points, but I can see Tank going for the knockout as well.
Haney's just different. He's just got that IQ that is just, yeah. I mean, I was a big Cambosos fan.
He can box away for sure.
He can box. Like, he makes really, you're so good when you make really good people look average.
Yes.
And I noticed that in the Cambosos fight. Like, I'm a fan of Georgie. I wanted the best for Georgie. I'm like, hey.
He's a great boxer.
Yeah, shoot your shot, Georgie. He is a great boxer.
He's
fucking fast, too. He's so fast. And Haney made him look...
Yeah, just like another...
Average.
Yep.
Like average in the top 10% of the world or, whatever, but still average. And I find Fury does that to the heavyweights.
Yeah.
And speaking of Fury, we've got chat about Ruiz and Fury. And we've got chat about... There's another. Oh, Usyk. Ruiz and Wilder, excuse me. So it's Usyk and Fury. What do you think about that heavyweight matchup? I know there's a mandatory that they're trying to dodge to make Usyk, and we all knew Fury was going to come back. Like, he's not retired. Like, for the right paycheck, any of these boys are like, all right, cool. So what are you an Usyk fan?
Definitely. He's a really good boxer. Like, clean, technical. I could see him versus Fury being like a technical boxing match, almost like a chess match.
I think it'd be beautiful.
Yeah. But the Rui Wilder fight, that could be a firefight because knowing Rui's style, he just, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he did drop Anthony Joshua.
He did.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because when I see Andy Ruiz punch, I'm just like, I don't know how that big man can move that fast.
Yeah.
And, you watch these guys holding these punch shields and they literally, like, you can watch their life flashing before their eyes. They're like, wow, I really hope he doesn't miss this punch shield because it'll be the last punch I ever held for.
Yeah.
Now, Wilder, I have a hard time enjoying Wilder. Talk to me. What's your thoughts on Wilder?
Technically wise, he doesn't seem to be so sound, but like he's got that touch of death. Like,
it's so true. And it bothers me.
It's almost annoying. Yeah. Like, it just... He could be so much better. I'm not trying to hate or anything, but like
it's true. It's true.
He has this, what he makes up for, like with a lack of skill, he just makes up for it with the sheer power.
It's crazy. Like it. Yeah. And I mean, the day Wilder comes into our DMs and is like, stop talking shit about me on your podcast. It'll be the day I'm like, all right, okay. But for now, I mean, like, first off, place respect where respect is due. He has the touch of death is actually a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
But I would rather watch paint dry than watch that man box. Like, I'm just like,
Fury just outclassed him when he decided to box, and he just couldn't compete in the boxing match. That's why he got knocked out in that third fight too.
Yeah. And I mean, at that weight class too, like, you're going down at least once.
Yeah.
In that fight like that.
Those boys can punch.
They can punch, and And there's a lot of weight behind those punches. So someone's going down at least once.
Yeah.
Or both y'all are going down at least once. But and it just proves Fury's fucking tough too. He's got a chin. He just pops right back up.
Yeah.
When Wilder gets hit though, all of a sudden it looks like he's a drunken sailor. Like he's wobbled. So I've noticed that with him. He doesn't seem to have quite the ability to take damage.
Yeah, it's probably because he's not so technically sound that he doesn't know how to maintain his own balance when he's hurt. Maybe that's a lack of training in a sense, because he just really believes in his power.
Interesting. So in your opinion, what is a way that a fighter can train the integrity in their technicality to be able to absorb damage and move forward through that damage? How does someone train that?
Well, it's going to be a lot of sparring for sure, but like there are little things that you can do. Like a drill I learned was you actually spin around one way 10 times, spin around the other way 10 times, like as fast as you can, and then just start shadow boxing. And that feeling is the feeling you feel when you get concussed, like with a big shot. That's exactly what you feel. And the moment you could find your balance through that, then you'll know. Yeah. Then you can fight through the pain. You can fight through the damage.
Yeah, that's some kind of like some old school kind of stuff, isn't it? That spinning around and then trying to shadow box or trying to run a straight line. I know in jiu-jitsu there's, forward rolls and then you kind of try to run in a straight line or stand still for a second. It's really hard. Yeah. But you get an acuity for it, you get better at it. Yeah. And eventually the kind of like the duration of time that your brain's spinning shortens out and you notice the difference.
Yes.
So do you incorporate stuff like that into your training as well?
Yes. That's more of my home stuff. I don't really do it at the gym. It's kind of weird to look at, but I do that.
Angelica puts you on a rolly chair with a blindfold on and then spins you around and then takes off the blindfold. Yeah, spins them around, then makes them stand up and cook dinner or something. Yeah, nice. Awesome. And what other kind of like tricks have you learned for things like that at home to kind of help you absorb damage, move forward with good base? Like, is there anything else that you incorporate?
Other than that, I just really keep focused when it comes to sparring. Like, when I spar, I do my best to think of every situation. Like when I get hit, why did I get hit? Like as it's happening, and like what can I do to minimize the damage more, especially when I'm concussed, because it happens in sparring too. There's a guy I spar at Mendoza named Philip. He hits hard, and he throws a bunch too. But like when he rocks me for sure, I just do my best to keep that poker face, make sure he knows I'm still in the fight, even though I'm kind of dazed. Right. But it's just those little things that make them stop and like give you another second to recover rather than just rushing you because they think you're hurt or something. Now,
this might be kind of an obvious question, but I kind of want your thoughts on it. How important is a poker face in boxing?
Super important. The moment you show you're hurt to someone, most people will just pounce on you. And if you just keep this nice, steady face throughout the whole fight, they don't really know what you're thinking. So even if you hurt them, like, oh, did I really hurt them? I was like, nope, just poker face. Oh, I'm hurt. I'm really hurt, but my face doesn't say it.
And that can manipulate someone psychologically too. Yeah.
It's a mind game.
Right? Like I've fought a couple of these, I call them zombie people, where you're like, man, I'm hitting this person and they ain't stopping. Yeah. And I'm like, what is it going to take to get this girl out of my face? And that can be super psychologically manipulating.
That's
and
one
you
of the
start
most
to panic
damaging things. Yeah.
And then you start making mistakes. Very interesting. Now, so here's a question for you. Changing the subject. Are mom and dad coming to the next fight? Are you going to give them the correct address, time, and date? Or do I have to do it?
I'm thinking about, I probably will this time, because once they see the pictures, they're going to be like, oh, now I want to see the fight for sure.
Right. Yeah. Have you got we're going to send a little album out to every fighter. Have you got your photos yet?
Yes, I did. They look lovely.
Janet Hoffer and Mark. So good. How proud of yourself do you feel looking at that and then like reliving that moment?
I was like, wow, I look that cool, huh?
Yeah, like wow.
I didn't think I looked that cool, but like, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Janet. Those are some good picks.
Right? Yeah, it's interesting to kind of, it brings you back to that moment. And I often wonder, because I think fighters can be in two mindsets. There's either people that are super hard on themselves, always looking for something to kind of
critique on or what could be better.
Yeah, which is super valuable, right? Like there's an element of like, hey, if you're not the first person to sort of critique yourself and want to improve, then, it's not going to matter as much the other people in your life that are doing it. Like you have to be motivated to do that. But on the other side, is it not equally important to recognize your successes and to stop for a second and be like, yeah, I just did that. And I look fucking good doing it too. And you had a great first performance. Is that come naturally to you or are you more critical?
I used to be more critical, but like over the years, I've been learning to just appreciate the small things in life as well, because it's what makes you appreciate the big things as well.
Right. That's a pretty big lesson. How old are you?
I'm 27. I just turned 27 in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've had a lot of, so just little things you said throughout this, talking to you so far, you've had a lot of really powerful sort of insights and things that you've learned. And obviously, you made a pro debut at 27. You've worked through some anger stuff. You've channeled it. You've disciplined. You've worked your ass off. You're balancing an 8 to 4. You're doing a lot of stuff for a young guy. And you're still managing to be in a marriage. So were there significant events in your life that sort of like set you on different paths to sort of continue to fine tune yourself as a person?
Yeah, definitely leaving my old gym was a big start. Had some personal problems there. Just don't want to dive into that too much. But
respect.
After leaving that gym, just things got better. Obviously, COVID hit, so everything died down. So I was just training by myself. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as it started picking up again, I actually went to Rain City a few times. Sparred Ari, got my ass kicked, but I was out of shape too. No excuses. I got my ass kicked for sure. But moving forward, I ended up talking to Michael from Mendoza, and then they just took me in, and it was from there. Here I am. Nice.
Excellent. So do you think that gym and those people have been very pivotal for you in kind of setting your path and making you feel supported?
Definitely. Rain City helped as well. Oh, I forgot to mention Quinit. I also trained with Quinit a few times as well. He was just busy with his guys. He has a lot of guys. So like,
he's a busy man.
Yeah. I wanted to go pro too, but I know he has a lot of fighters, and I just didn't want to give him an extra load.
For sure.
So
now, did you want to go pro before COVID?
Yes, actually, I had a chance to go to with my previous gym, but things went down, so it ended up not happening. They actually offered me to fight Lev at first. I was going to take it, but it just didn't happen. Not happen.
And how difficult was that sort of COVID lull for you?
It wasn't so difficult, but it just felt very like stagnant.
Yeah.
So like, it was more like, I still want to box, but like, man, at this rate, will I get somewhere? But like,
right. And were there moments where you like kind of lost focus and lost heart?
Yeah, a little bit. Some moments of doubt, like, can I do this? Will I still be able to do this? But like, think about it now. It's like, that's stupid. Of course you can. Age is just a number.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and what do you lean on in those moments of doubt?
Do I lean on? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like, do you have tools that you sort of recruit to help put your mind right back on track?
Oh, I just stick to just go back to boxing. Like,
just show up and start moving.
Or even if I can't go to the gym, I just do what I know. Just train by myself. Stick to the basics.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, right? Like, sometimes people need massive kind of like self-motivation things to even get them to start the initiation of moving or to get in their car and head to the gym. And it seems like, at the end of the day, you know what you want and you're focused on it enough that it's just a quick reminder of like, this is what I'm here to do. And I'm going to throw my boots on regardless of how I feel. And that seems like it sort of got you through that time, because that was a difficult time for boxing.
Yeah.
Us too. Like, and it was interesting because when we first started the podcast, that was sort of the topic we talked about a lot, was because everyone was, are you training? How did you train? Yeah. What was that for you? How much of a bummer was that? Where did it put you off your career in certain ways? Like, how did you get sparring? Like, there were so many elements of that just really shut down boxing, and what that does for people who really love something. I think also, especially, I'm obviously a combat sports person. So, I think especially combat sports, you fall in love with it in a different way. It's just like like you're addicted, like I'm in.
Yeah.
So to be told no on something that's not just for your physical body, but also for your, your mental state, your emotional state, your community, and not having access to that.
Yeah.
And being afraid to have access to that. Like, who can I tell that I, boxed today with somebody or whatever, right? It was really, really challenging for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I know it rocked some people's focus quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm always curious to hear, how athletes manage personal stresses and doubts like that.
Well, for me, how I managed, first, like, boxing is like a lifestyle. So when you take that away, like, screws everything up. But since it's like a way of life, just, you have to think about it, how you just live on a daily basis. Like, if you live with focus, like, towards your sport too, even if you're not able to like, fight right away, not to train at your gym right away, what are you doing? Like, what small things are you doing to add up towards the end goal, until you can get back into the gym.
Yeah.
Just keeping yourself focused, keeping yourself busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even like going for a run here and there.
That's a good way of putting it. It's like a series of little decisions, even if that's a reframing of a thought. The action to grab your rope.
Even if you're doubting yourself too, it's like, oh, I have to do this again. Oh, I'd rather go to the gym, but I can't. Oh, might as well just do it.
Yeah.
That's all I got right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I love that because I think it's, again, martial arts and combat sports being such a parallel to life really is a series of little decisions that either take you closer to where you want to be or farther away from it. Right. So choosing to get up and grab your rope and go in the garage is a small decision that impacts you towards the path that you ultimately want to be on. Exactly. Not deciding to not do that is going to take you farther away from that goal. So when you look at it like that, it's like it's an equation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those constant like building blocks of little decisions that point you in that direction. And that all pointed to where we are today.
Yes, exactly.
Now, we're gonna let you get on with your evening, but I wanted to say that it was an absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Likewise. Thank you, Jenna.
Yeah, of course. And you're lovely. Like, you're a lovely person. And then you're also this fierce warrior. And I just love the combination of that in you. And I think that is going to take you into places that you never imagined you're going to be in professional boxing. So whatever you have within you, that switch, keep that switch ignited, because that plus the discipline and the humility that you have makes you very unique. And I think that you're going to have an incredible career.
Thank you very much. Win or lose, I'm always going to give it my all.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Again, right? And then beautiful parallel to life. Like that, you got to live that way. And it seems like you've adopted that just as like a personal code. And I love that about you. Now, any closing remarks if you were to chat with a young boxer today, a guy, 19 years old, just walked into a boxing gym, thinks he likes it. What would you say to that?
I'd say boxing's not a game. So if you really want to get into it, go amateurs first. And even then, you're still going to get hurt. So get as much experience as you can before going pro.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Beautiful.
And take your training seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, I think it's important for people to define like why they're there. Are you there for fun? Cool.
Yeah.
There's a whole world available for you in boxing that's for fun. And then if you want to be serious about the fight game,
yeah, it's
sometimes not very fun.
Yeah, it's a different world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like falling in love with the violent aspects of it that sometimes, and that's why a lot of people don't do what you do. That's why a lot of people don't do it. They don't have and that's fine. I think that's what makes boxers and fighters and martial artists unique is not every person is equipped to do that, and nor should they be. Everyone has different things that they partake in their life that makes them unique, right? And for fighters, it's a very special sort of, you fall in love with the process of violence and humility and sportsmanship and commitment to pain almost, really, and that's unique. That's a unique thing to be able to do. So anyways, all right. It was an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And I'm glad you brought Angelica with you. That was very sweet. I love a good boxing romance story. Very Rocky Balboa. Rapid fire. If you had to choose two movies, Rocky or Creed?
Rocky.
Okay. And if you had to choose a fighter or Southpaw?
Fighter or
Southpaw.
What do you mean by that?
Thank God he doesn't know what Southpaw is. I'll take that as the fighter
Oh,
movie.
you mean? Oh, I do know.
Damn it. Fighter or Southpaw?
Is Fighter the one with Tom Hardy?
Christian Bale and...
Oh, sorry, that
What's
one.
his my face? You're talking Warrior, which is a fantastic movie.
That was awesome.
And I have many opinions on that.
I choose the one with Christian Bale. I know the one with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's just...
My man. Good choices. Good choices. We like to roast Southpaw on this podcast as well. I can't wait till they slide in my DMs as well. Creed, I'm like, whatever. Creed's fine. But like Creed or Rocky?
Rocky
all the way.
Creed's its own thing. I think it's cool. It's a modern twist to it, but Rocky is what motivates me if I'm feeling down. It's like, oh, dang.
Right.
I need to punch like a bag of meat somewhere.
Yeah. I need to throw on my gray sweatsuit and find a meat hanger and punch a pork hawk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Break its ribs,
Yeah.
Like Apollo Creed's coach in that movie. I was like, oh man, he's training. He's cracking those ribs. And I love that scene so much.
Honestly.
And then Apollo's just busy like doing business stuff. I'm like,
it's so good. I wish I could take like 30 to 40 like boxers kind of at, a similar level at like dudes, obviously, because this is a very dude thing, not to, put out the girls, but it's like, and then ask them how many of them had Rocky inspire them to box. And I bet it would be staggering. It would be like 80%. I'm saying north of 80% of young men were like, damn, that's what a hero looks like. That's what a champion looks like.
Yeah.
And then translate that to, and now this is what a champion looks like, and all the boxers we get on our podcast. So thank you for tuning into another episode of the Empire Boxing Podcast. This was Elroy. What a fantastic guest. And we'll see you next time between the ropes.
Yes, you will.
Take care.
Thank you.
Make sure to listen, follow, and subscribe to Empire Boxing on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.